Hello everyone. Now we are continuing about the ectopic pregnancy. In previously we have seen about the acute pregnancy. Now we are going to see about the what will happen in case of chronic ectopic pregnancy. So what are the symptoms? What is its clinical manifestation? So in case of chronic ectopic pregnancy, the symptoms which are going to be present, it can be diagnosed by high clinical suspicion that patient had a previous attack of acute pain or from which she had recovered. That is, if you ask the history, then what patient says that there is a previous history of acute abdominal pain. And whatever the acute abdominal pain, it is not a light pain, it is a little bit of pain. It is not that the same. Whatever the pain, it is very agonizing pain. The meaning of agonizing that you can bear the pain. And from it, she has recovered. And she may have a amenorrhea, and there may be a vaginal bleeding from the symptoms and the dull pain in abdomen. And in case of bladder and bowel complaints, there may be like a patient have a difficulty for the urine, that is dysuria, or sometimes there is a frequency or retention of urine, or sometimes there is a rectal tenuousness, that is the patient is having pain in the rectum part. That is the thing. So clinically, if you ask the history, if you ask the amenorrhea, so sometimes patient may have a history of amenorrhea, sometimes you can't present with it. And patient says that I'm having, there is a severe history of very acute abdominal pain in the previous. And again, the patient says that there is some little bit of vaginal bleeding is also there. And sometimes patient may say that I'm having some dull pain in the abdomen. And any other symptoms, in other symptoms, patient says that I'm having a bladder or some problem for passing the urine, or there is a increased frequency of urine. Previously, I am going only for once, but now there is an increased history of urination. And sometimes there is a patient says that I'm not able to pass the urine, means there is no satisfaction after passing the urine. So that may be the present, or sometimes there is a tenesmus pain in the rectal area. And if you do, then what you do it, all these symptoms we are getting on the history taking. Now, what is on the examination? So, which examination we do it? We do the per abdominal examination, we do the per vaginal examination, and at that we are also getting some characteristics. So, what is it? If you see the look of the patient, so it is not a very fresh mood like a belladonna. How it is, the patient is very ill looking, and there is a maybe pallor it is present to the, if you do the examination, so there is a presence of pallor, or it may be seen that if there is an infection, so there may be temperature it is raised, then there is a tachycardia is also there. So there is a features of shock also. Features of shock are absent, but there is a tachycardia, there is an increase in the temperature, that what we see it. And if you do the per abdomen patient, if you do the per abdominal examination, then what you see that tenderness. What is tenderness? If you give the pressure, there is a pain which is felt, that is called as a tenderness. And the muscle guard on the lower abdomen, and a mass may be felt, or how it is the mass. So if you see the regularity, so it is the irregular mass which is present. And again, that mass, if you do the abdomen, patient says, oh, if you give the pressure, then patient says that there is a pain, that is called as a tender. So in case of chronic ectopic pregnancy, we are seeing this signs on the per abdominal examination. And when you do the per vaginal examination, so if you see the per vagina, so per vaginal mucosa, it is pale. So uterus may be normal in size, or it may be bulky, that is increase in size, or there is a ill-defined foggy tender mass may be felt in one of the fornix. So if you do the anterior or posterior fornix, so there is some tender mass which is going to be felt. So that is from the pervaginal examination. So how it is clinically, if you see that, so this is the what is ovary, this is fallopian tube, uterus, it is on this side. But what we see that there is a something mass which is present over here. So that mass, it is the ectopic pregnancy. See this mass. So that is the ectopic pregnancy which is going to be there. Now, what we see that whatever the diagnosis in recent years, in spite of increase in the incidence of ectopic pregnancy, there has been fall in the case of fertility, in the case of fertility rate. So this is due to the widespread introduction of diagnostic tests. Nowadays, there are very good diagnostic tools, diagnostic aids are available, diagnostic tests are available, and increased awareness of the serious nature of the disease. Because we know that this is an emergency situation. So patient may go into the shock. So what in previous days, there is less of the diagnostic, there is less of ultrasonography, availability of the ultrasonography. So now it is the increase of this use of this diagnostic test and increase awareness of that is we know that ectopic pregnancy, it is not a serious that oh ectopic pregnancy and you can wait and watch, no. So it is a serious scenario. So because of this awareness, so incidence of it is becomes whatever it is becomes less, or whatever the problems, it becomes less. This has resulted in early diagnosis and effective treatment. And now the whatever the tubal rupture, because what we see that in the complication, it may get a rupture. So the chances of rate of tubal rupture, it is less about on how much less, it is 20%. So if you see 100 female patients with that of ectopic pregnancy, so if previously there is a 100% rupture, now it is 20% patients are having suffering from this. So this is the same. That is what it leads to. So how can you do the diagnosis? That is what we have to do it. It is the acute abdominal pain. We have to diagnose it clinically. So history taking in what is important? History taking is most important. Whatever in whether we do it surgery, gynec, medicine, everywhere. 80% work it is on the 80 to 90% it is on the history taking, and remaining it is on the investigation. So what is it in a patient with acute ectopic pain can be diagnosed clinically. We know that the patient cannot present with that, oh, hi, hello. It is not very severe agonizing pain. It is going to be present in the acute ectopic pregnancy. Patient may come into the shock stage. That what we have to find out it. Then if you do the investigation, then it comes how much is the HB percentage, CBC, blood grouping, and the cross matching. And in case of serious serological and the coagulation profile also required. And this should be catheterized to know urine output. So what we have to do is when any patient comes to you, we have to do the if any patient, female patient comes to you with symptoms related with that of ectopic pregnancy, acute ectopic pregnancy, then what we have to do the catheterization. For what reason? To know the urine output. And because patient may suddenly go into the shock stage, so we should know the urine output, why we are doing all these things. Then again we have to do the bedside test. That is what is first and important. It is the UPT. What is UPT? That is urine pregnancy test. What is it? In positive in 95% cases. That is ELISA is sensitive to 10 to 50 MIU per ml of beta HCG. What is HCG? HCG is human chorionic gonadotropin and can be detected on which day? It is LMP, 24th day after LMP. Now clinically we take the example. If any female is having menses on the for example on 1st of August, LMP of her. So if she is get the pregnant, then what is the diagnosis of UPT? So on the 24th day, so on which, that is on the 24th August, she present the UPT. If it is she is the pregnant, so UPT is going to be positive. So detection can be done on 24th day after LMP. Then Couldo-synthesis. What is Couldo-synthesis? Synthesis means removal of the fluid. And what is Couldo? That is from the cul-de-sac. What is the second synonym for the cul-de-sac? It is the pouch of Douglas, the part below the fallopian tube. So can be done with 16 to 18 G lumbar puncture needle through the posterior fornix into the into POD. So it is a positive tap. What is we have to remove? It is about 0.5 ml of non-clotting blood. That is synthesis. There is a similar terminology like amniocentesis. What is synthesis? It is the removal of the fluid. So what is amniocentesis? Removal of the amniotic fluid. When we have to remove the amniotic fluid, we have to remove the amniotic fluid in case of polyhydramnios. What is polyhydramnios? When amniotic fluid, it is more than 2000 ml or 2 liter, then we can remove it. That is called as a amniocentesis. So similar terminology, photosynthesis and amniocentesis. So how we are going to do the diagnosis? But obvious. First, it is the clinical symptoms, and second one, it is the ultrasonography. That is, there are two types of sonography: transabdominal sonography, transvaginal sonography. So in that, transvaginal sonography is more sensitive. It detected intrauterine gestation sac up at just 4 to 5 weeks, and at SB, that beta HCG level as low as 1500 international unit per liter. So, why out of the transabdominal and transvaginal? Transvaginal is more sensitive. That is more useful for diagnosis of ectopic pregnancy. At what level? That means are at early at 4 weeks or to 5 weeks, it can diagnose it. So that there may be early gestation sac, or there may be situation that is pseudo sac is also there, but clinically we can differentiate from it. That is the early gestation sac, it is round shape, while that of pseudo sac, it is irregular. Border, it is double, while it is ring sign. Vascularity, here it is high, here it is avascular. Sometimes it may seem that it may be decidual cyst. So how can you differentiate between the ectopic pregnancy and the decidual cyst? So it is the identified as an anechoic area lying within the endometrium but remote from the canal and often at the endometrial myometrial border. So that may be the same. That is, we can consider it as an ectopic pregnancy, but actually it is a decidual cyst. And some there is a color Doppler sonography. See, this is a color Doppler sonography. So it helpful for again improve the accuracy and what is identify the placental shape, that is ring of fire pattern and blood flow, that what we wanted outside the uterine cavity. And in transabdominal transabdominal sonography can identify gestational sac at 5 to 6 weeks. See the difference. In transabdominal, we can identify the pregnancy at 5 to 6 weeks, while in transvaginal, we can identify as early at 4 to 5 weeks. So that is the difference. That is what is the advantage of using transvaginal sonography instead of transabdominal sonography. And what is the HCG level? Here it is up to 1800 international unit per liter. So it is in ultrasonography, how it looks like. It is the Bagel sign, that is the hyperechoic ring around the gestation sac in adnexal region. So there are different signs are there, but what you have to remember is that uh, that ultrasonography, transvaginal sonography, it is more useful for to find out the diagnosis. This is the how clinically, this is the hyperechoic ring around the gestation site. See, this is normally not present. So if it is present, so that indicates ectopic pregnancy. This is hyperechoic adnexal mass. So how it is clinically find out. So this one is again how clinically ectopic pregnancy is going to be seen. How it is diagnosed. So this is hyperechoic ring. This is the ring shaped structure. That is called as the ring sign. Or some it is also assisted by the HCG level. So beta HCG assay that is going to be helpful for to uh, find out the ectopic pregnancy. That is if beta HCG it is less than 66% in 48 hours indicate ectopic pregnancy or non-viable intrauterine pregnancy. So that one another way that how you can going to judge it. Next one is that is from the serum progesterone level you are going to judge the ectopic pregnancy, and then last one is that is the laparoscopy. Laparoscopy. What is laparoscopy? From the abdomen, the below the umbilicus, one cut section is taken, and from that instrument it is introduced inside of it. That is called as a laparoscope. The instrument is called as a laparoscope, and from the outside we are seeing it whatever the abnormality that is called as a lapro, and why we are diagnosis. So that is diagnostic laparoscopy. There is another that is the two types laparoscopy, that is if you are diagnosis, and second one is the therapeutic. So what is the intention over here? To diagnose whether there is an ectopic pregnancy is there or not. That is the diagnostic laparoscopy. By if you want to remove it, if you want to give the treatment, then it is the therapeutic laparoscopy. So serum progesterone level also helps to find out the ectopic pregnancy. That is, if serum progesterone level more than 25 mg per ml, then it is a normal pregnancy. But if it is that is normal intrauterine pregnancy. If it is less than 15 mgm, then it is the ectopic pregnancy. And if it is level less than 5 mgm, that is it is a non-viable pregnancy, whatever is the mutation. So that is what you know. And next one is that is the laparoscopy. So definitely it's going to help you to confirm if there is a presence of mass. And the DNC, that is dilatation and curettage. So in dilatation and curettage, it is in suspected cases of incomplete abortion versus ectopic pregnancy. So whether sometimes it may happen that we consider it as whether it is an ectopic pregnancy or whether it is an incomplete abortion. It can be anything. So we have to think about the DNC. So this is the indication for it. What is the indication of DNC? So to uh, recommend in case of if there is a incomplete abortion or versus ectopic pregnancy. And what is the next one is for the identification of decidua. What is decidua? So it is the inner layer of the endometrium, and without chorionic villa is the history of extrauterine pregnancy. So what we see in that endometrium in an ectopic pregnancy, the endometrium is enlarged, but there is no chorion because the endometrium is ready for the pregnancy, for the product of conception for the implantation. But the whatever the layer, inner layer of the endometrium, it is increased, and that is called as a deciduum. Non-pregnant ladies' inner layer is called as the endometrium, while pregnant ladies' inner layer of uterus, it is called as the decidua because its thickness is more, but there is no chorion, and from chorion where it is going to come in, it is from the implantation. So there is no chorionic villi. Or sometimes areas scalar endometrial reaction is suggested, but not diagnostic of ectopic pregnancy. And there are some other tests also there, that is other level tests are like placenta protein, decrease in ectopic pregnancy, then PAPA, there is that's pregnancy associated plasma protein A. There are different tests, that is PAPA C, PAP-C, PAP-A, PAP-C, CA-125, then VEGF. There are a number of, that is fibronectin and mass spectrometry. But you just remember DNC. So this is how you are going to approach to the patient. If you suspect it is an ectopic pregnancy, so first do UPT. If it is positive, then what you have to do is ultrasonography. Which ultrasonography? It is transvaginal ultrasonography. Then see if the IUSAC is there. If no IUSAC, then what we have to do, quantitative HSHCG or plus serum progesterone. And on that basis, if it is less than 66% rise in 48 hours and or S progesterone, that is less than 5 to 10, then what you have to do, DNC. And from DNC, if villi present, it is the incomplete abortion. If villi absent, then you have to think about the laparoscopy. And then again, if it is the whatever the HCG level, it is more than 66%, then S progesterone, it is more than 5 to 10, then again we have to repeat it SHCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin hormone in 48 hours, and still USG discrimination, no SAC, laparoscopy. If IUSAC is there, that is continued. And what are the differential diagnoses? So if in case of acute ectopic pregnancy, it may be rupture of some corpus luteum of pregnancy. It may be rupture of chocolate cyst. Chocolate cyst we have seen in endometriosis, gynae condition, where endometrium is present other than the normal side. And it sheds off and it leads to the cyst that is some chocolate color, that is chocolate cyst. Then it may be twisted ovarian cyst, and we think about it is the ectopic pregnancy. But mine in chocolate cyst, in twisted ovarian cyst, UPT is going to be negative. Then it may be torsion or degeneration of pedunculated fibroid. Yes, it may be seen that is pedunculated fibroid may be twisted, and it can also lead to very acute severe abdominal pain. And we can think about it. Oh, it may be ectopic pregnancy, but actually it is the pedunculated fibroid. And which diagnosis we are going to help it over here? It is the ultrasonography is going to help it. In incomplete abortion, yes, here it may be UPT is going to be positive. Then it may be then acute appendicitis. In acute appendicitis can also present the very severe acute abdominal pain. But how can we clinically differentiate? In that acute abdominal pain, we know that the pain it is in the McBurney point. McBurney point. Where it is the McBurney point? That is from the umbilicus, and if you imagine the imaginary line from the acute abdominal umbilicus to the anterior superior inlet spine, there is a from upper two-third and from the middle one-third, that is the McBurney point. So there is a characteristic point. Then again there is an observator sign and the Schwarz sign are going to be positive. So this test what we have to do to rule out whether there is a acute appendicitis is there. So that can be present. Or sometimes there is a perforated peptic ulcer. So perforated peptic ulcer can be present. And in acute appendicitis, how is the pain? Initially, it is the generalized pain, but afterward, it settles into the umbilicus. So how that we can clinically differentiate whether it is the acute ectopic pregnancy or whether it is the acute appendicitis. And sometimes it is the perforated peptic ulcer or in renal colic. Renal colic, we know that the pain in the renal colic, it is in the angle of renal angle. But renal colic, the pain, it is upside side. While in case of acute ectopic pregnancy, pain in the lower region, that is in the inlet region. So how can it clinically differentiate between the ectopic pregnancy and the renal colic? And it may be sometimes clinical rupture is also there. So this, how can we, there are differential diagnosis. But again, we have to differentiate from the histopathology and from the location of pain, how it is. In acute appendicitis, there is associated of the nausea and vomiting, maybe there, is also there in acute appendicitis. And in case of chronic, that is chronic, not actually chronic, in the sense it is a subacute ectopic pregnancy. So what is it? It may be pelvic abscess. What is abscess? It is a collection of fluid in the, it is collection of pus in the sac, anywhere in the body. It is called as abscess. And if it is present in the pelvic region, then it is called as pelvic abscess, or maybe there is a pyosulfins. What is pyosulfins? That is sulfins means fallopian tube. And if there is a presence of pus in the fallopian tube, then it is called as a pyosulfins. Or sometimes there is a subserous uterine fibroid. That is the location of it inside of it. If there is a subserous uterine fibroid, or if there is a sulfingritis. Sulfingritis means inflammation of fallopian tube, or sometimes it is the retroverted gravid uterus. Means uterus, normal position of uterus, it is anteverted and anteflex, means it is forward. But when it goes backward, then it is called as retroverted gravid uterus. That may be the same, or sometimes there is a appendicular lump. That is can use this. So now the management point of view. So it is the expected management, medical management, and the surgical management. So what is medical management? If the local, what we have to do is ultrasonography, laparoscopic, salpingocentesis, then the medicines are there. While in systemic, it is a methotrexate, but in surgical point of view. So radical salpingectomy or conservative, one part of it is remove the fallopian tube, that is salpingectomy, then segmental resection, and the milky or fimbria expressions. So that will be the management of it. But what we have to think about, it is the ectopic pregnancy. So what is the principle? It is the resuscitation and the laparotomy or laparoscopy. And if shock is there, so we have to take the shock, that is IV point, then crystallized is started, blood sample for the HB blood grouping and cross matching for the blood transfusion, that BPCT, then police catheterization is done so that we can monitor the urine output. Then colloidal for volume replacement, and then laparotomy, that is where quick in and quick out. That is the rapid exploration of abdominal cavity. That is first immediately we open the abdomen and we remove the part of it, that is sulfonectomy. It's a definite surgery. Then blood transfusion is given, and the auto transfusion only when donated blood was available. And laparoscopy is preferred method if hemodynamically stable patient. That is, if HB, pulse, BP, and all the parameters are normal, HB, everything is normal, then we can think about the laparoscopy. In that tubal patency, no significant difference is there. So followed by similar number of uterine pregnancy, shorter operation time. So prognosis, it is good. And salpingostommy less than 2 centimeter in size, then we can think about the salpingostommy 10 to 15 mm incision. So that is how what we are going to manage the ectopic pregnancy. So just I'm taking the revision of it. Okay. So what we are today we are seeing the chronic ectopic pregnancy. So first we are going to say symptoms and then signs. So first it is the previous attack of acute abdominal pain by high clinical suspicion. That is proper history. Previous attack of acute pain, history of maybe history of amenorrhea, vaginal bleeding, dull abdominal pain, and then other symptoms are urinary and the rectal symptoms. Then on examination, look wise, it is the ill look with the pallor, with the increase in the BP, increase in the temperature. That is normal, no, if it is means no difference, it is the temperature difference. And then tenderness and muscle guard on the lower abdomen. Then the mass may be felt, which is irregular and tender. And per vaginal, it is the bulky, uterus maybe, or maybe normal size. Then in case of unruptured ectopic, then what we have to think about, sometimes it may happen that accidentally in laparoscopy or laparotomy, there is a delayed period of spotting with discomfort in the lower abdomen, pervaginous little bit of spotting per abdomen, tenderness in lower abdomen. If there is a ectopic pregnancy is not ruptured, then pervaginal, we have to done it gently, otherwise we may create the problem for the ectopic pregnancy. Then the uterus is in that normal size, firm, and immediately there is a little bit of small tender mass maybe present in the cervix. And what is the investigation we have to think about it? It is the transvaginal sonography. And sometimes it is the radio immunoassay, that is which hormone? Beta HCG. What is HCG? Human chorionic gonadotropin and laparoscopy. This is clinically. See, this is the ovary, embryo, this is the embryo, and this one is the ectopic pregnancy. Then there is a fall in the cases of ectopic pregnancy because there is a increased use of diagnostic tests and awareness about the seriousness of this disease. Then proper arrangement, we have to think about HB, blood grouping and cross-matching is required if we have to think about the blood transfusion. Then the serological and cognizant profile, we have to think about catheterization, we have to do it to urine output. Then UPT we have to do it, window synthesis, that is removal of the blood from the window sac. Window sac means pouch of blood. Then investigation, it is the ultrasonography. Which one it is the better? It is the PVS, that is transvaginal sonography. Why? Because it has the gestation sac at just we can detect it as early of the gestation sac, intrauterine gestation sac at 4 to 5 weeks. While other, that is in transabdominal sonography is also there, but it can detect identify gestation sac at 5 to 6 weeks. So this is the gestation sac. And it detects at 5 weeks. So it requires some time. And better it is the transvaginal. And it's the color Doppler sonography is also there. That is PVCDS. What is advantage? It improves the accuracy. Then there are how clinically we are going to see it. So this is the hyper-echoic ring which is present in the ultrasonography. This is the ring cell. Sometimes it is a beta HCG assay is also important, and serum progesterone, where in ectopic pregnancy it is the level, it is less than 15 mg per ml. Or sometimes it is the laparoscopy. Laparoscopy, where instrument used it is laparoscopy. Then DNC instrument is there. So other tests are also there, that is PAP A, PAP C, PA125. And this is how you are going to approach for the suspected ectopic pregnancy. Then there are differential diagnoses, that is maybe rupture corpus luteum pregnancy, chocolate cyst is there, twisted rupture chocolate cyst, twisted ovarian cyst, then torsion of or degeneration of pedunculated fibroid, incomplete abortion, acute appendicitis, surgical condition like acute appendicitis, perforated septic ulcer, renal polyps, splenic rupture, these are surgical conditions. And these are upside, it is the Gannett condition. Up to 1 to 5, it is Gannett. 6 to 9, it is the surgical conditions. Then in case of chronic, here we are seeing the differential diagnosis of acute ectopic pregnancy. But in case of subacute one, it may be pelvic abscess, pyosulfur, subserous uterine fibroid, sulfingitis, retroverted gravidicarus, and appendicular lump. Here all the 1 to 5 it is the Gannett condition, but 1, 6, 1 it is the surgical condition. And then the management, medical and the surgical management, then radical and the conservative management. Conservative, where we are going to preserve it, and if shock, then we have to give the treatment from the shock point of view, laparotomy, and laparoscopy and salpingostomy. So this is the approach that what we are going to do in case of ectopic pregnancy. So in short, that is the finish of the topic. That is what we have seen the ectopic pregnancy. First, what is we have seen the ectopic pregnancy. Then what we have seen the uh, types acute and chronic, and sometimes this acute ectopic pregnancy may get completely removed from it. Sometimes it gets absorbed. Sometimes it may form the mass also. So that is seen, and this is the example of how the ectopic pregnancy. See, this is the fetus, but fetus it is embryo. So this is embryo over here, and this is the uterus. You can identify it. So that